Hey guys, what is going on? RedMaster here, and welcome back to the episode of Cards and Castles TV commentary. Not going to give too much of an intro here. I kind of want to jump into the matches because they are I think some good matches that we have here for you today. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into match number one. Alright, so match number one here, we got Esikhan taking on UnhlpfulYoda. It appears a Pirate Crusader takes on a Warlock Crusader, so we may be able to assume greed from Esikhan's side, and meanwhile Yoda, not sure what he's rocking, but alright, it appears to be Last Will. We do see General, Rider, Banshee, all tools that point to that beautiful, beautiful combination that is Last Will. So Yoda opens up with that same style Hard Rider looking to attack Castle, meanwhile Esikhan responding with a Merchant's Estate. Alright, maybe he's got a school he's setting up for him, maybe, we're not so sure. Imp, meanwhile, from Yoda's side, going to go ahead and continue to push a little bit of aggression here, and that's good. I mean, you kind of want to keep a little bit of early pressure up, but meanwhile, Daggerstorm going to go ahead and effectively clear off both of those units. Two landing on the Imp, so a little scary there, but of course, the spread managed to work out quite well. Yoda going to have to respond with a Banshee in the meantime. Not really opting to go Imp, maybe more Banshee. Although, I mean, he does risk losing Banshee and thereby losing the opportunity for General to get an effective combo. But there we see Andrew. Gonna hold off on lunging the Banshee forward for now. Meanwhile, taking the Imp and lunging it forward. Esikhan really only responding with estates so far. And there is his third. So he's got a board full of estates here, so a little extra 3 gold per turn. It's not really bad, but you got to imagine what else is in his hand for that to be sort of the go-to option. Meanwhile, Andrew finally coming out from Yoda's side, so hoping to get a little bit more use out of the Banshee. Meanwhile, Mordok going to appear on Esikhan's side. And actually, this is a brilliant play from Yoda. A little bit of lucky, but a little bit more of the smart play here. So Mordok does take the hit from Banshee, does summon another Banshee. Flamestorm kills off most of what Esikhan had there. A little bit of castle damage, one of the estates burned off in both units, the Banshee, the new Banshee, and the Mordok. And meanwhile, Andrew gets a buff from both Banshees dying. So, again, I do say a little bit lucky because that Banshee did have to be summoned between, you know, itself, the Horseman, and the Wraith. So, lucky that the Banshee did pop out in that outcome. The Flamestorm is probably more effective. I think the only reason, or the only option in which that Flamestorm would not have been as effective as if Mordok pulled out a Wraith, which obviously could lead to a bit more issue for Yoda moving forward. But he did manage to get the Banshee out of the pull, so ultimately things worked out for him in the end. Esikhan does receive a battle cry. Yoda, meanwhile, using his defective that he got from one of those Banshees to burn off an estate, and I'm not sure I agree with that, but we'll see if that pays off for him in the end. Execution, meanwhile, from Yoda, or against Yoda, I should say, coming from Esikhan's side, so of course evening things out just a little bit there. General going to go ahead and move up from Yoda's side. Esikhan responding with a Robins and going to battle cry, if I remember correctly. Yep, he will fear that away. Because Robins isn't able to really make a clean trade with General, so he is kind of hoping that, he can just buy himself a little more time, maybe draw a buff that he needs to properly trade with that General. Yoda, meanwhile, going a bit more defensive here. Darkbender and Books, so looking for draw and to maybe hurt that Robins if he pushes it a little bit forward. Dramoth, though, from Esikhan, going to make things quite interesting. Not really advancing all the way up, though. Kind of holding back just a little bit, which is kind of curious because Dramoth does have Deflect. So, really, if Yoda had an AoE burn, i.e. Flamestorm or Dragon's Fire, Dramoth could do some serious damage here, especially if he maybe pushed it a little along this top line here, in my opinion. Although we do see the Ranger in Yoda's hands, so it probably would have been a clean kill for Yoda, or at least he would have had to put in a lot of resources to kill off that Dramoth. It wouldn't have been clean, but certainly he would have lost the Dramoth. So Esikhan, meanwhile, going to go ahead and execute one of the two generals. Of course, a new general popped out from Yoda's side along with the Tarius files, so now Yoda is able to combo general off of something. Meanwhile, he does bring forth a Ranger, of course, and a Rider plus Priest. So really kind of dumping his hand here, hoping to get maybe some kind of advantage over Esikhan. Not really sure, but of course, both of those units looking to hit Dramoth maybe, or at least block for Dramoth. Shaman comes out, another crack, or a crack, excuse me. Big Boy finally makes an appearance. Meanwhile, Yoda going to go ahead, do a little bit of trading here, and of course, this is the more smart decision. is the smarter decision, excuse me. Of course, he doesn't want his two little smaller units to be cracks as food, so he does put them into the Dreadmoth. Ultimately, he plans on killing Dreadmoth anyway, so why not use their damage towards weakening Dreadmoth while he can? So that is the better play here. And of course, he actually puts it into Ranger range, so there is a clean trade opportunity here if he wanted to take that, but, that won't be the case here. We'll see Daggerstorm, meanwhile, go ahead, hit Darkbender and the Ranger, and of course Arbiter kills off Darkbender because 2 bleed does exist on it. So, alright, and of course Dreadmoth moving down as well. So, does want to protect his Dreadmoth a little bit more. I do think that was, let's see. I'm just going to quickly rewind here, because how much did that really heal from the... Yeah, it didn't really heal the castle at all, so in my opinion, that was certainly a waste of the Arbiter heal, but I guess it did get rid of the Darkbender, so I guess he kind of valued the kill over the healing, which is, that's more of a him decision. Meanwhile, Chaotic Storm in Yoda's hand, looking to use that. He does snipe off the Robins, which is good. And, of course, further weakens the Dreadmoth, so another strong possibility, or at least a stronger outcome there. I don't want to say possibility. It did happen. A little bit of a stronger outcome if he was able to kill off a unit, excuse me. Now we see another Arbiter comes out here, and, of course, that is another waste of the heal. It does hit the Ranger here, and, of course, that does leave Craxus to draw, but honestly, not really the move I would have made here. Of course, your Ranger, Yoda's Ranger does kill off Craxus very easily, or does kind of perfectly kill off Craxus. So, I guess he must have valued the draw that much, because maybe what else was in his hand maybe not have been worth it. May not have been worth it. Excuse me. So, interesting there. Elvis Thief, meanwhile, comes out. Shaman moves around a little bit, not really doing a whole lot. And Dreadmoth kind of stays put too, so we gotta wonder what the ultimate Dreadmoth plan is there. General, meanwhile, the third from Yoda appears, and now, of course, Priest healing a little bit of everything, giving that one additional health. Meanwhile, Esikhan responds by going a bit more aggressive here. We'll see well, I guess not yet. We'll see a Maddie first. Yep, there he pulls out a Mage Apprentice right there. And we just see a little bit of aggro from Dreadmoth. Going to go ahead and hit off one of those generals with the scope here. And following up with the School of Knowledge. So, in my eyes, or at least when I'm viewing this, I'm thinking of Esikhan's mindset of what else, what could be his ultimate goal here. I think he was kind of going more for school draw at this point. I mean, the Elvis Thief sets up there, but I mean, both Books and Priest kill off this Dreadmoth, and we'll see that trade happen. Actually, we'll let it play through a little bit here. And of course, this is a very valuable Flamestorm from Yoda, as you can see. Well, he'll do the trade first, but Flamestorm will come out, kill off the estate, the school, Maddie Thief, and Mage Apprentice. So pretty much most of his board, most of Esikhan's board. And of course, Arcanon does open up more draw as well, thanks to Tari's files. We'll see a Priest come down to further buff everything. That was me kicking over something down on the floor. And of course, it goes back to Esikhan's turn. Another Maddie comes out. Sea Witch executes the Arcanon General, so all of the generals are gone. Rest in peace, General Core. And of course, it goes back to Yoda, who I think just goes for the safe play here. He does Arbiter the castle just to kind of put a little bit more pressure on Esikhan, and of course heal up his own castle, because he is looking a little low there, a little low at 12. And of course it does scare Esikhan quite a bit. We do see he's going to take more of a defensive approach here. He's going to protect his castle from all sides, really. Of course, moving all of them up to kind of block for another Arbiter strike. And that was the right move, considering that we do see another Arbiter inside Esikhan's hand. I do think the Reclaim is a bit unnecessary. I guess he kind of had it and maybe wanted to just use it, I guess. But not really the move I would have made here. Craxus is going to get some value on that. And, of course, because Yoda can't really use the Arbiter for another castle strike, he is going to go ahead and take Craxus up as sort of an option here. Not really able to... No, I mean, he didn't use Dragon's Fire, which is kind of, I guess, more the right play, because none of these units can really do some big lethal threatening to the castle, so Yoda taking the more safe route, Craxus, that Tari's files. It will give Esikhan draw, of course, but he does get 2 cards of his own. Chaotic Storm going to come out, hoping for maybe castle damage to end off the game. It does land on Robins 3 times. Unfortunate luck, I feel your pain, Yoda. Of course, when the closing moments, Esikhan really going to go ahead and just dump a little bit here. He doesn't really have... Well, he does have options to heal, so maybe we'll see healing. He had 15 gold. Southport, no. Cleric, also no. Running out of gold. Craxus, yeah, at that point, not really a lot of healing options for esikhan. So it does end the game, unfortunately, for esikhan. Yoda does pick up the win. A solid last will demonstration, in my opinion. There were two strong, notable moves that I think were just very, very strong. First of all, the Flamestorm that cleared off that, pretty much the majority of that board. I can't remember the other one. What was the... Oh, yeah, the Mordok play. The Mordok was very nice as well. So, two great plays in one great game. Good win for Yoda. esikhan put up a good fight, though, for sure, for sure. And I think we'll just move into match number 2. Alright, and for match number 2, it is going to be Jimba taking on Boxsack. I'm going to call him Box because I want to. It looks like it's going to be a Viking Pirate taking on a Warlock Pirate, so we'll see what both of these guys have to offer inside the matchup itself here. But meanwhile, Box actually looking a bit interesting in his opening hand. They got Lumberjack, Pyromancer, School of Magic, and Vampire. So, not really much I can gather from that as of now. Army of the Damned going to be the second, or the next card to be drawn in. So, potentially, maybe some undead stuff here. We do see School of Magic as well. And actually, Box takes the aggressive start. I kind of glossed over Lumberjack being played because it's so standard. But we do see School of Magic and Lumberjack, so hoping to get maybe a little bit more damage in these opening moments here. But Jimba going to respond accordingly with those Sun City guards. And, of course, chopping down the Lumberjack. A little slow. I think I had a couple things open at the time. So, gameplay is a little slower here. I think you might see a small drop, but hopefully it's not too bad. Meanwhile, Box responded to the Pyromancer, so getting that additional tool out. Guard taking a bit of a retreat, which is all fine and dandy. Meanwhile, Flux from Box. So, yeah, certainly a interesting combination of cards here, but there we see one of the classic, and you kind of see the little thing up there. Oh, maybe you can. I can see it, but maybe that's hard to kind of tell on your guys' end there. But I'll give you a little hint here. What's something you never want to do in terms of positioning against Vikings? I'm just gonna leave it at that because obviously there's a lightning blade, devastating. Against Box, obviously can clear out pretty much all of what he has set up here. Both the Pyromancer and School, along with the Flux, all fall. And meanwhile, Jimba does keep his guard fairly healthy too at 3-3, and of course he still has his back guard at 1-1. Box will have the benefit of drawing a little bit of spell power from that, but honestly, that was a pretty devastating move here. And I do think Box did take a bit of a wrong turn in this next play, and we'll show to you, or at least what he does, and maybe would have been the better play. So, guards, of course, going to chop down, two guards chopping down the one guard. That was the play that was made with the help of Blacksmith. I honestly think it might have been better to just Vampire that, because it was at 3-3. So, theoretically, Vampire comes right over here where I'm kind of putting the mouse. Chomps down on the Sun City guard, kills it, doesn't really lose health because of the lifesteal, and then he blocks for that guard accordingly. So, I do think Vampire was sort of the missed opportunity. I think he might have been fearful of another Lightning Blade, but honestly, if he did that, that would have been a huge waste of Lightning Blade on Jimba's part, so I don't think that would have been what was going to happen anyway. But I do think that was sort of a misplay of the turn, if you will. Meanwhile, Jimba going to go ahead and respond with a Southport Captain, get a little invest going, Medal of Bravery, and a Maddie. So he does kind of want to build up his force a little bit here. We do see Karasume. Pretty strong pull. For Jimba, of course, he has the opportunity to bounce that Maddie back into his hand. But, of course, Karasume being slightly weakened by the mugging. And, meanwhile, Army of the Damned makes an appearance, summons out 3 additional zombies. Jimba going to go ahead and maybe bounce the Maddie back, or at least hoping to. He does get the guards, which isn't really the worst case, because, of course, he does get a second guard now. But, yeah, I think he was hoping for maybe of a Maddie to be bounced back. Meanwhile, Jimba going to go ahead and obviously you see there on the screen summons the Mordok, and of course, Captain, I guess, trading with one of those zombies. I sometimes you just blank out on cards, right? Like they're right in front of you, and you just can't figure out the name. Weird. Anyway, Bach has an opportunity here to take out the Karasume, which he will take. Of course, smacks it down right over there. And we do see a bit of a, I guess, kind of just on the spot play here. Lumberjack, Rally the Town, Bulwark. He didn't want to get these guys a little healthier, I guess, but, you know, maybe not what I would probably have set up the Darkbender, but again, there we see Chain, and of course that's devastating considering how you look at these units and how they're positioned. Of course, not being able to kill all of them, but going to make a strong impact regardless. Takes out the Lumberjack. and again, tremendously weakens the rest of the board here moving forward. Meanwhile, back at box, we do see a Doom ship, so I mean, I'm going to admit here now, this is quite the collection of cards here. Headless Horseman gets summoned from the Mordok, and of course, Wraith. Going to be a bit tricky to get rid of without making some... Well, I guess there is the Vampire. Never mind. I forgot he was still in that hand. So Vampire comes out, kills off the Wraith, but again, Chain, Fear, does do a bit more damage to Box's position. And of course, Doomship, meanwhile, says hello, gets someone on the board here, although Lich's going to go ahead and put a stop to that, put a freezing halt on things. That was a terrible, terrible wordplay. Anyway, back over to box. We do see Lumberjack come out. Gonna go ahead and push a little bit more aggressively here. Flame Prince and Darkbender. He's gonna kind of dump the rest of his hand here. Although this is where we'll see the end of the matchup here. Silent City Guard takes a little bit of the castle health, chips it down a little bit, but instead of moving the Lich forward, he actually opens up with a Yenaroth, which, you know, I don't really know if that was the right way to do things. I mean, listen, he could have, how should I put this? He could have opened up Yenaroth for more of a, you know, like, oh, I'm going to play it to where, you know, you can't really defend your castle properly. But I guess Hassan City Guard may be more of the smarter option for him to do. Take a little bit of damage off. I don't know what I'm thinking here. I just think maybe he missed an opportunity to hit castle with Yenaroth, but I think he probably was going more for the Doom ship anyway, obviously. But we do see that this is kind of the end of the matchup anyway. We do see a surrender coming out from box after, you know, he gets a little draw here. Not really able to do a lot with Darkbender, so he does end the game. And of course, a very solid, impressive win for Jimba. I do think there were a couple of misplays throughout the match over on Box's side. Obviously, the guards into one guard where he could have used the Vampire. That would have been better. But I do think Jimba just had the more dominant deck in this case, and that certainly showed in the gameplay. So solid win to Jimba, and of course we move on into our final match, match number 3. And for our final match, it will be Tucker123 taking on, I don't know, like, listen, I don't know if this is supposed to be jeffyao or like jeffyao. I just gonna put that out there right now that I have not been able to figure out the correct way, if it's supposed to be Jeffy or Jeff. But anyway, I'm just gonna call him Jeff, just to make things a whole lot easier. So meanwhile, Jeff taking on Tucker, another Warlock Warlock Pirate, taking on Druid Crusader. So it should be a little interesting mix here to see what both players have to offer. But we'll see, of course, in the game momentarily. We do see, okay, I can't really tell based on Jeff's hand now what he's cooking up. But meanwhile, both players taking that passing opportunity in turn 1. Unstable Construct comes out, do a little bit of a threat to the board, at least early damage, at least looking for the early damage. Trent, meanwhile, going to go ahead and put a stop right to that, of course, taking on 3 unstable damage himself for 1 anyway, and of course that does kill off the Construct. Okay, Salahar. So maybe Last Will in Pirate Warlock, I guess? I don't know. We'll see. Meanwhile, Injured Trent, another one coming out from Tucker to intercept that Con Artist. Not able to really kill it, but we'll see it disintegrate, burn off that tree, and of course it does leave Con Artist room to smack the castle. He will do that after summoning the Salahar Spitefish to continue the early pressure just a little bit there. And of course back to Tucker. What did Tucker got for a Centaur? Okay, probably would have done more use to hit the Salahar Rider so this damage isn't coming in, but I get the idea. Maybe he doesn't want his castle, or at least maybe he wants the gold for the next turn, so not killing off the Salahar in that regard. Meanwhile, though, Con Artist Salahar takes straight to the castle. Fear pushes back the Centaur for draw. Keeper comes out as well. So, again, Jeff looks to push a lot of big damage here. Meanwhile, Tucker responds with interesting companion play here. Forest Watcher clears off the Con Artist Centaur, kills off the Salahar Spitefish. Titan Watcher also moving to block for the incoming Keeper. Jeff, though, responds to Dragon's Fire. I guess he didn't really... I mean, he could have easily Blue Fire bolted the Titan Watcher as well. But I guess he maybe was more concerned with the Elvish Thief, or not Elvish Thief, the Elvish Hunter up here. So, that's just kind of my assumption there. Meanwhile, Keeper smacks the remaining Titan health away. Banshee comes out as well from the Keeper combo. Not too bad there. Killer Rabbit follows the suit. Of course, chomping down on the Keeper. Gets a little bit of extra attack. We do see a blue Firebolt in Jeff's hand, though, so he will be able to take down this Rabbit if he so chooses. Goes with the Captain Banshee play for now. Yep, there's a Banshee. So, I guess he's looking to block here for this incoming rabbit, if you will. Maybe kind of force him to maybe trade off with the captain rather than looking to hit his castle. However, we do see Forest Revolt. Revolt going to go ahead and kill off the captain very easily there. Spiny kills off the Banshee, and that opens up Rabbit to take a little bit of damage out of Jeff's castle. Not a whole lot, though, but again, enough to just... Well, I guess not really enough to do anything too much impactful, I guess. Blue Firebolt kills off the remaining Rabbit health. Elvis Thief takes away the tree from the board, and meanwhile, Wraith comes out as well to push some pressure, kind of establish itself as being existing, I guess that's the proper way to put it. Kraxus comes out now from Tucker, looking to block that incoming Wraith here, although we do see Eternal Darkness, and of course that Elvis Thief ramp coming in handy to be able to bring out the Eternal Darkness early on here. And of course that does leave Tucker in quite the precarious position, looking to push all of this damage onto Tucker's castle. Good use of Fenrir, by the way, here from Tucker. We do see a Bestial Rage throwing on Kraxus, of course, that little buff, plus Rampage, going to clear off 2 zombies. Fenrir going to go ahead and also kill off, I believe, the Wraith, because of course he has the attack power to do so. We do see, yep, the Wraith go down here, and of course we do see another Bestial Rage put on Fenrir for that 1-1 buff to survive the trade with Zombie, hoping another one will trade into the castle here. However, this is kind of an instance where I think Jeff got a little bit lucky, of course, hitting 1 zombie to the castle. Offering goes ahead, sacrifices that zombie, draws some more cards there. We do see an armory as well, and Force Armory actually going to give these zombies the perfect amount to kill castle. 3, you see there, 3 again, Blessing of the Trents from earlier, putting on the remaining zombie, takes away the remaining 5, and of course that's the game in Jeff's favor. So, honestly, this was a pretty solid match out of Jeff. I do think he got a little bit lucky in the end there with that armory pull. Gave him just the right amount to kind of kill off the castle here, but still a solid demonstration from him regardless with the classic Viking, not Viking, I keep saying Viking. Warlock, Pirate, Undead Swarm, which I assume this maybe was more geared toward, maybe not Last Will. I don't know, you saw Eternal Darkness and you saw Spitefish, so you wonder what sort of the connection was there. I think it might have been just sort of a card that he had on standby, but overall, an impressive showing from Jeff, and unfortunately, Crusader Druid not able to make the comeback, if you will, but I do think it put up quite a good showing, especially that defensive Rampage play, you know, having Rampage, Kraxus. That's always devastating, especially considering that you can just eventually draw so many more tools into your hand off of that. So, yeah, I do think that was an impressive defensive opportunity here, but again, the Armory just got a little lucky in the end there to close off our final match for this edition of TV Commentary. With that being said, guys, if you did enjoy this edition of TV Commentary, let me know what you guys thought of the matches by leaving your comments down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video. Of course, if you enjoyed, share with friends, and subscribe if you are new or haven't done so already to the channel. Show your support by clicking that subscribe button and maybe hitting the notification bell as well. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me for now. For now. Oi, until next time, guys. Stay gaming.